Marvel Rivals Season 3 starts in a mere 2 days, and of course we know that it's bringing in not one, but 2 duelists this season and no Vanguards. So now it's got me thinking with this rapid rate, what Vanguards could come to the game. And then at that point, things are going to get a little crazy because seasons will be a month shorter, characters will be coming very fast. As Marvel Rivals developers have said, every month a new character will arrive. That's 12 characters a year, and I'm going to start this series by looking at Vanguards. My personal 5 Vanguards that I would like to see added over the next year with so many characters coming. Now, I will do a little bonus of 1 extra because I do feel like there is 1 character I would really like to add that just kind of is a little bit behind the other 5. As a person who spent a lot of time on Vanguard, mostly Magneto and Emma Frost, those are the 2 I play the most. Vanguard is definitely a class I spend a lot of time playing, and these are the 5, well, 6, wink wink, that I would like to see added to the game. So we're going to begin this video with the honorable mention, and I really kind of went back and forth on should I include one or not, but I decided I'm going to do it. And for me, like, I really could have gone with 10 characters for this list, but I felt 5 plus this honorable mention was enough. And we're going to start with our sorry you didn't make the list Vanguard, and that is going to be Gladiator. Polaric has made his first appearance back in X-Men in 1977 and was definitely been a character that I kind of grew attached to in the 90s. And the reason is, in the X-Men cartoon in the 90s, there was a big whole arc where the Shi'ar were brought in, and there was a big fight in space. It all circled around, of course, Phoenix, who's coming this Friday. And Gladiator was a big part of it. And I think it'd be cool to have a flying Vanguard. We do see some adjustments to Vanguard, like what they gave Thing, where he can jump to flying characters, which makes fighting flying characters, which there's a ton of now. And even though Jean isn't a flying character, she has the mobility of one. It makes having a flying Vanguard maybe something a little bit more available. Because, yes, we have Thor in the game, but they gave him no flying skills. He can basically do his ult, and he can charge a little bit. But for some reason, Thor, who is a flying character, gets no flying. He even had flying in Marvel's Avengers. Yes, you could fly as Thor in Marvel's Avengers by Crystal Dynamics. So for me, I think Gladiator makes a lot of sense. He'd be a very strong character. He's known for his physical power, his reflective shield. He has a lot of cool powers, such as like ridiculous strength, ridiculous psionic abilities, course flight, strong stamina. Like, he'd be a perfect component. Now, he did fight Rogue a lot in that, and she almost made the list as well. She was just behind Gladiator for me. But the 5th character, though, I feel would also fit the role of a flying Vanguard, and for that it would be Captain Marvel. I think would make a lot of sense to be added to the game. It doesn't have to be the MCU Brie Larson version, although I'm sure we get some really cool Brie Larson skins, because they have been really doing a great job getting those MCU skins to Marvel Rivals. But Captain Marvel, other than being a sheer juggernaut and one of the most powerful characters in all of the Marvel Universe, would make a great tank. Of course, once again, you're already getting the flight, which is one of the things that made me gravitate to Gladiator in the first place. But you're also getting the pure strength, the power to, reflect abilities. Like, there's a lot you can do with her kit. Now, the thing that makes, Carol a very interesting character to me would be like what they could do with her photon blasts, her energy manipulation, which would make her very different than, say, what we have with the psychic abilities of Emma Frost. So you have a very unique tank, very interesting power set, a huge pile of lore. Like, there's really not any way they could go wrong bringing Carol to the game, and I think she would be a very good tank. And like I said, I feel like we're missing that flying Vanguard, and with the rapid rate we're getting of characters starting in Season 4, it makes perfect sense to include Vanguards. Because let's think about it this way. The last Vanguard we got was Emma Frost at the start of Season 2.0, and before that we got Thing in Season 1.5. But we got no Vanguards added other than Cap in Season 0. We got no Vanguards in Season 1.0. We got no Vanguards in Season 2.5. We're getting none in all of Season 3. So a flying Vanguard to kick off Season 4 would be absolutely phenomenal. Now, here we go. The next one for me is just really a fan favorite, and that is Spider-Man villain Rhino. Rhino, once again, very similar to Gladiator, became a fan favorite of mine because of Spider-Man the animated series in the 90s. In the 90s, we had so many good superhero cartoons. We had X-Men, we had Batman the Animated Adventures, and we had Spider-Man the Animated Series, and all three of them were so S tier. And Rhino was always a fun character. I prefer the Rhino where he's just pure dumb action packed, not with the crap we got in, with like the robotic version, arguably one of the worst things I've ever seen. And I try to pretend the Andrew Garfield movies don't exist in the first place, but that was terrible. So we don't have to pretend that exists at all. But like, let's be honest, I think Rhino in Craven wasn't done poorly. I think Rhino in the animated series and a lot of the cartoons has been done phenomenally. And I think there's a good potential for just a good old-fashioned charge-based slam 'em, jam 'em, mamma jamma to really work. And for me, I think Rhino is a character who is underrated. He's always been one of those villains in the Spider-Man verse that I feel like doesn't get the love he deserves. Even though he's part of the Sinister Six, he has superhuman strength, superhuman speed, he has the tough skin. Like, he would make a great straight-up tank. Like, he's really in the same vein as the Thing, who's already in the game. And arguably, there's been times where the Rhino and Thing have fought, and Rhino has won. So, like, I feel like the fact that he can run, like, 30 miles an hour, it could lead to a really interesting, like, combination of charge-based and pure endurance abilities. Coming in at number 3, one of my favorite all-time villains, argue behind the two that are coming up next. That's right, 3 villains in a row. This list is mostly villains. Like, other than Gladiator and Carol, we're going on the villain side because I feel like we get a steady diet of positive hero characters other than Ultron. That is the only villain we've added since the launch of the game. We didn't get any added villains in Season 0. We didn't get any in Season 1 at all. We did get Ultron in Season 2. We're not getting any in Season 3 because Blade and Phoenix / Jean Grey are both heroes. So adding a villains to the game really spices it up for me. So, like, and I tend to feel like some of the villains would make better Vanguards. And coming in at number 3, Kane Marco, aka the Juggernaut, bitch. Because you have to say it that way, because even though Vinnie Jones's version in X-Men Last Stand was terrible, that line will live on in infamy. And let's be honest, there's a lot of cool powers with the Juggernaut. I mean, he has regenerative healing. Like, there's been times where Kane has had, like, body parts ripped off and they just almost instantly grow back. He's very strong. He has the force field from his helmet. He can't be susceptible to psychic abilities. He has superhuman speed. He has superhuman stamina. He has the irresistible force, which once he starts moving, he can't be stopped. Like, there's so many cool powers you could have with Kane as a tank Vanguard, a straight-up tank Vanguard, maybe even a similar to Captain America if they want to make him a motion Vanguard. That would also work really, really well, and just basically have the Juggernaut running all over the frickin' field, just crashing into things. I would be all for that. Coming in at number 2, arguably my favorite villain in all of the MCU, other than Green Goblin, who doesn't fit this video at all, Mr. Sinister. Nathaniel Essex, hands down, is one of the coolest characters for the stories that have been told with him, the parts he's played, the creation of Madeline Pryor, which now we're hearing a lot of people want the Goblin Queen skin for Green, the whole part of trying to make a superhuman race out of Scott, and of course Jean, who's already in the game now. Like, it makes a lot of sense for a season to come centering around Mr. Sinister. Now, Mr. Sinister has a boatload of powers. He has regeneration, telekinesis, telepathy, shape-shifting, immortality, really, psionic nullification. Like, you could set him up as an anti-tank, which would be really cool with his nullification, which maybe allow him to stop healing or stop a power from working, or maybe he locks down a power of his opponent. Like, there's a lot of anti-abilities that Mr. Sinister would bring to the table, which would make him an absolutely cool tank to play. Coming Telepathy, you really can't do in a game, but telekinesis, you absolutely can. You can give him a force push, you can give him a grab psychically. You could do a lot of things with his telekinetic and his anti-powers that would make him really cool. He also have energy blast, so he could actually have some range to him, which is a lot of the problems that most Vanguards have, that they can't reach the higher up duelists or the sneaking away strategists because they're in the front line and they're just kind of stuck there trying to hold a point. And Mr. Sinister has the complete kit that could handle all of those problems. And finally, one of my favorite all-time villains, and yes, let me show you. Now, for me, this was a moment that I remember as a young kid, well, almost a teenager. X-Men 4, 1992, the first appearance of the Carbonium Nightmare, Omega Red. Now, Omega Red for me has always been one of those characters I really enjoyed. He was awesome in X-Men animated series, which I think now referred to as X-Men 96. And I was actually surprised they brought him in so quickly, but I remember this whole arc. X-Men 4 ran through X-Men, I think 6 or 7, where there was something that was almost as strong and maybe even footing with Wolverine. And the fact that he's always being poisoned by his own tentacles, that he has to feed off the life force of his enemies, made such a natural enemy for Wolverine. A character that has basically no way to die, who endlessly regenerates, made Omega Red an absolute nightmare. His speed, his agility, of course the tentacles is what really makes him the most dangerous thing. He basically has a combination of a poisonous version of adamantium combined with super soldier serum to be one of the most outrageously powerful melee Vanguards that could ever exist. And I think to bring Omega Red into this game would be a character that I maybe never would switch off of. I love Omega Red so much as a villain. Him or Sinister would make me probably play nothing but Vanguard. They already got Emma and Magneto, who I play a ton of. Any one of these would be a huge boon to the game. It would give a wide variety of powers. It could create a bunch of interesting stories, because they do focus a lot on the lore here in Marvel Rivals. And I feel like all of those villains in particular would make for intriguing cases that would lead to interesting stories. And I feel like the story for Marvel Rivals is way better than you would expect from a superhero shooter. And I'm excited to see where they go with it. But those would be my 6. And without a doubt, Omega Red is always near and dear to my heart. I love to read Omega Red stories. He's had some great ones throughout the last 30 plus years. And I have enjoyed a lot of the Omega Red stories. I always get the Omega Red variants when it comes to comic books when he's in them. So he would be my #1 Vanguard. And I want to hear in your comments below, let me know who you would bring to the game as a Vanguard, whether it's just one or you have a list for me. I want to hear it all. We can debate it. We can talk about it. There's probably characters I didn't even think about. Those 6 sat at the top of my list, minus Rogue, who was right there with Gladiator. So say maybe 7. Those 7 made the most sense as Vanguards for the next set. But there's so many different characters I probably didn't even think of. I want to hear your thoughts in the comments below. As always, thank you for watching, and later, mates.